Max here from Slate the Space Marine. Recently I finished up building my land speeder, which I'm pretty sure I did on the stream or something. Don't really remember. Lots of memory problems lately. But we'll just get into the video here. So I got my land speeder here, which I'm fairly enjoying. I've got the beaky crew, and they got their armor all decked out, all beaky. And then, because I kind of ran out of the other shoulder pads and I didn't really want to bother filing some down, I was like, well, I'll just use these Blood Angels ones, and, you know, whatever. Blood Angels, sure. So, what I'm wanting to talk about is, oh, wow, look at that. That's actually kind of cool. We're gonna do this maneuver. Maybe I should do a spin. That's a good trick. Right? Now this is pod racing. So I set up this land speeder with the same polarity as my first magnetized land speeder, which is pretty much just taken off of, you know, someone else's video, essentially. Like, I just copied what they did and just kind of then replicated it again for this one. So now, I mean, why am I talking about this? Like, why are you talking about just replicating stuff and stuff that clearly already people have been done? Like, even what I'm about to say is probably not going to be anything that's brand new or spectacular. But I think that all vehicles, or like, if you want to bring it down to like an infantry level, by all means, although that'll be a bit fidgety, but I think that essentially all vehicles should be magnetized. And my reasoning behind that would be because, if you magnetize certain components as well, then you get a huge amount of flex room with your vehicles. So, for example, here we've got these two land speeders, right? Now they both have, you know, their specific crew, and as much as these are just gonna be minor details. So I mean, if this isn't something you care about, just, I don't know, skip in a minute or something. But, you know, they both got their crew, and they're very specifically, uniquely distinct, right? Like, this one's got, like, looks like a sergeant and Maximus armor, and then, you know, two beaky Marines that got their, you know, the studded pads. They got, like, a lot of the Corvus gear, let's just say. So this one's kind of meant to be like a throwback to the original metal land speeder because of the crew. But let's say you want to swap that up, right? So you just, you know, take off your Maximus guy and you swap out the heavy bolter guy. I did the magnetization a bit different on this one because I forgot to put it underneath. So it's a bit tough. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do this with one hand. I'm going to stabilize it. Kind of get this guy off here. You know what? I got a better idea. We'll just put this here and rest it on this Predator, which I'm going to be putting into the video soon. So, yeah, wow, goes back on. This Marine is tough as nails. There we go. So, now if we want, we can swap our gunners. So if we want to have, you know, the beaky guy on this one, and we want to have this guy on that, and then it kind of spreads around the look of the Marines all of a sudden. You know, that becomes a neat detail swap that you can do, where now it's just got, you know, different crew. It's got a different look, different crew. I don't know. You could then give somewhat of an excuse if you wanted to say it's a different speeder. See, it's got different guys on it. It's different. But that's not what we're going for, right? Like, that's not the biggest or most exciting thing in the world, is it? Well, I hope not. But, you know, you also want to swap out for different guns, right? So let's say you want to have, you know, the multi-melta, then there you go. And now once again, a lot of this stuff isn't going to be new. And a lot of people have probably done it before. But, and I'm just grabbing something here. There we go. I'm just getting the other Melta guy. So, why am I doing this? Well, let's open this up to some other possible things that this could open it to. So, okay, let's take off our heavy bolter guy here. Let's put on this Melta guy. And we got our assault cannons that we can turn, and we can take them off if we don't want to have that extra points cost, let's just say. Alright, so we have our assault cannons. But, you know, you want to have like a heavy flamer. There you go, now you got the heavy flamer. Well, what if you have a Predator that you've magnetized? And you've magnetized its side guns to the same polarity, right? And I'm not sure if you can do this in the current edition, but I remember that, you know, land speeders could get and take a second heavy bolter if they wanted, right? So now you have this second heavy bolter. Alright, so let's take this Melta guy off and do that, take this off. And did I even bring over the other heavy bolter? Okay. Well, okay, here it is. So then we have, you know, some land speeders with, you know, 2 heavy bolters each, so that can be skimming off some points if you wanted, you know, if that's allowed. And that might be in the index, I'm not sure. I know that in older editions, I think in like the last edition, you could give your land speeders heavy bolters if you wanted, like a secondary heavy bolter. But now, let's say, you know, what if you're a little bit more open in your play and what you have available to you? So, you know, let's take these heavy bolter guys off, and let's put some multi-meltas on. All right, take these heavy bolters off, and now let's go back to this Predator that I've got over here that I'm using to support this. And, you know, it's got las cannons. Las cannons that are the same polarity. Now, this isn't... No, someone's probably going to go, las cannons, but, you know, land speeders can't get las cannons, and it's, you know what? I know. Now, isn't that really neat? I've got these land speeders, these custom land speeders, at any point that I want, that can take las cannons. You know, as long as my friend playing with me, you know, doesn't mind, or, you know, or something, or I don't know, maybe it's got a rule if it takes a las cannon, it, you know, takes an arrow to the knee, who knows. But, you know, it opens up all these options to you, magnetizing your vehicles. Oops. That wasn't there before, all of a sudden, right? So now, okay, let's move on from the land speeders, because I've pretty much done everything I can possibly do with the land speeders now here, right? Except for, I guess, you know, put on their missile launchers, but who cares? So now let's move on to the Predator. So let's say you have your Predator here that's been magnetized, and your land speeders that have been magnetized with the same polarity. Well, what if you don't want to have las cannons and you don't want to have heavy bolters, right? What else can you do? Well, you have these assault cannons here. You got these assault cannons that you got with your land speeder. And so now, I mean, if you could get maybe a heavy flamer on top of that, or whatever it needs for its top gun, I think maybe it's a dual assault cannon or something, I forget. Look, is that a Bale Predator now? Or whatever it is, like, you know, that's a Predator with assault cannons now. So just by magnetizing that one piece, you now have that as an option. Oh, wait, what? Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. Okay, we're gonna have to fix that. Seems that things like to break on camera here, but whatever. I digress. We'll just put this one back on, I suppose. Just so I can remember that I have to... Oh, I have to fix that. Damn it. Okay. Oh, wait, and a piece fell off too? Okay. Didn't do a really good glue job. All right. Well, now, moving on, right? So you have your Land Raider. Now, this is probably things that a lot of people probably already know. And your Land Raider, and if you want to make it, this is, if anyone has the old Crusader kit, you're probably familiar with these old, pewter multi-meltas that came with it, right? I kind of just recently, restored one of them. I kind of just found this other one, but, you can magnetize this, and you could put this on, or you could put the hurricane bolters on. And you can even magnetize these front doors the same way, and you could put on these Predator hatches. And so you could make like a Terminus Ultra tank, or if you have like the heavy bolters and stuff like that with the hurricane bolters. I kind of made that up myself in a way and called it the Audarius tank. So, the Audarius Land Raider. But where can this go, right? Well, if you're familiar with these old pewter multi-meltas, like, these suck. These suck hard. They're the worst thing that I've ever seen. Like, I would honestly want to say it's worse than building, like the original pewter Lictor. Like, it's worse than that. It's worse than, like... Oh, okay. Anyway. So we got our Land Raider here, right? And we want to have a multi-melt on it. Because let's say it's a Crusader in 3rd edition, and it has to have one. Or it's just a modern Land Raider and you have the option, right? Well, you just take one of these... Oopsies. Take one of these tank... turret, I don't know, like the gunner sections, ones that you'd put like your storm bolters on, and you put in the gunner, but you magnetize them. And so now, let's just use the heavy bolter guy, it doesn't really matter. You take your gunner that's magnetized to the same polarity from either your land speeders or your attack bikes. You can do the same thing with your attack bikes, because they'll have the same kit, like the same weapons as the land speeder, so it'll be really identical, and then you can swap out your gunners from your land speeder and your attack bikes as well. So now, because all of this is plastic, there's no weight issues, and it just works perfectly. So, and look, now I've got a Land Raider with a heavy bolter turret guy. Sure, why not? So, customization, making a few things maybe even, easier to use because of weight issues, and swapping details. I mean, I honestly think that you should magnetize all of your vehicles. If you don't already, you should get in the habit of it. You should pick up some rare earth magnets, and I think that it's something that's going to change your hobby forever from the moment you start it till the day you die. So that's my rant on magnets, which I'm sure is not, entirely original. I'm sure there's probably so many people who have said it before. And I don't know, I just think that it's incredibly useful to be able to, magnetize this front gun here, and I can just remove that and put in the autocannon, and I don't have to have two different Predators. I can have the same Predator. And yeah, so that's my, at the moment, magnet rant. Also, magnetize your attack bikes. I didn't pull my attack bike over. Magnetize your attack bikes so it can either be a regular bike or an attack bike, and magnetize the gunner so that way you can choose what you want. So I'm Max. This is Slate the Space Marine. Magnets.